Well, thank you, Devin. Deer season, though, is inching closer and closer. And with it, should be on lookout on how to remain safe so that we can keep hunting for years to come. Joining me this morning is Nurse Christina Paris to talk a little bit about safety heading into the opening weekend. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of orange out there.
It is. We're already starting to get calls from people saying, look, I've got this cold. I need to be better by, to go to deer camp. I've got to.
I know. And then once you get to deer camp, you're going to be in tight quarters.
You are.
So if someone's got something, it's probably going to the whole group.
You are, exactly. And we get that too. Like after deer season, we'll start to get calls. Yeah, everybody.
It's the gift that comes back to Thanksgiving. What a nice way to end it all.
Well, so hopefully everybody has fun.
Yes, that's the dream, having fun there. So are there any conditions that people should be on the lookout for if they start to become a bit uncomfortable during the opening weekend? Any sort of cold signs, anything like that?
So absolutely. So hypothermia is a big one that we want to watch for. Even though the temperatures, I know in years past, it's been like 11 below zero, we're bundled. This year, it's going to be warmer. There probably isn't going to be snow, at least initially. It sounds like Devin's saying maybe beginning next week there might be. But for the weekend, probably not. You're going to bundle up because it will still be chilly when you're going out there in dark 30 to get to your stand. And as the day goes on, and you start to peel off layers, if the layers underneath are wet from maybe perspiration, you can get hypothermia, even in 40s, high 30s, 40s degrees. So
I think we got a full screen for that as well. Hypothermia, it's something you got to constantly be on the lookout for.
Right. And so here are some of the symptoms. So you want to watch for shivering, maybe slurred speech, maybe you're just thinking slow, shallow breathing, weak pulse. Maybe your coordination isn't quite there. You're feeling drowsy, confused memory, and loss of consciousness. Those are some of the things that you want to be really careful for hypothermia.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant time. But you're right. When you are walking out to the stand, you are bundled up because how I've always hunted with my family, we don't do the closed in, with the walls and the insulation and the windows. It's either a lean-to or it's a up in the air one, but it's exposed, so you're always in the elements.
Right.
So you got like 6 layers on, and you're walking out before dawn even hits. And you're at the stand, and it's toasty warm. You're peeling layers off, and then it's a whole mixture of hot and cold, and it's just best to be careful.
Absolutely. And you kind of bring up some other good things. So those enclosed stands. Right. If it is colder in the morning, you might bring your propane heater. You've got to be careful and make sure there's good ventilation. If the cabin that you're staying at has a wood-burning stove, or you're using some kind of propane heat, make sure, again, good ventilation, make sure you're checking that, make sure the stoves and stuff are in good working condition. And you want to also make sure you don't overstuff a wood burning stove, because that can cause potential dangers there. So be really careful, keep the kiddos away. So burns.
Yes,
Let's move on to burns.
You don't want to be getting burned.
No, and that can come from, from those wood burning stoves. Now, if you do get burned, if it's a small burn, and we get these calls all the time after, deer season, you want to just run cold water. Make sure you cool off the burn right away. If the burn is more severe, of course, we want you to seek help, emergency medical care.
Right.
Yeah, immediately. Don't wait until you're finished hunting. Don't limp along. We get that all the time, too.
Oh, goodness. No, the stoves are hot, the little campfires, it's close quarters, and bumps do happen. So, it's just best to take care of it quick. If there were snow outside, you could rub some snow on it, cool off that way. But sadly, I don't know if we're going to be getting that this year.
No, probably not. And then, of course, anyone born after 1974 has to go through gun safety. So you all already know the tab case safety rules. So T, treat every firearm as if it was loaded. A, always point the muzzle in a safe direction. B, be careful, be certain of your target and beyond. No blind shooting. And K, keep your finger outside of the trigger guard. So those are good gun safety. Now, when knives, knives. You know, timely and proper field dressing can affect the quality of your venison. So, you know, foodborne illness we have to be careful of, but adapt use of a knife is really key. So make sure you're always using a sharp knife, because a dull knife makes you have to, you know,
it's true.
Go a little harder.
It gets a lot harder, especially when you're like gutting or, you know, pulling the hide off. Accidents happen when, you know, it's a dull knife. A sharp knife, a lot easier.
It is. And you also want to go away.
Oh,
so
yes.
don't pull down towards you, go away from you. We get that, you know, and then boom,
especially with the young folks who are just learning about how to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know to pull, you know, go away or pull close. They're just doing whatever is, you know, easiest. Even if it's a little harder, it's always safer to go away from it, and then you get used to it. You do it a couple times, and you don't even think about it again.
It's true. It becomes, right, the safety gets triggered into your memory. And then in the tight quarters, when you're taking out organs, you want to be really careful for your fingers, too, because it can be tight in there. Yeah. So
Good tips. Well, Nurse Christina, are you ready for camp? I got one more question for you. Are you making any food for the hunters in your life?
So, yes. My hunters, I usually send away with something warm. And instead of coffee, to keep yourself warm and awake, you can always use like broth, like put in the thermos some chicken broth or beef broth. Of course, you know, the trail mix, the beef jerky, apples, bananas, cheese, granola bars, energy drinks, things like that. Things you want to avoid are chips, because the bag is going to make a loud noise and they're greasy. You want to avoid dairy yogurt, because for some people it can upset the tummy, and out in the woods with all your gear is not the time to have tummy problems.
It's not.
No, and then any snack with a strong odor can, you know, always kind of deter your target. So
fantastic. I'm glad you gave us these last minute tips. It's appreciated. We got the whole week to prep for it.
That's
and then Saturday morning we get out nice and early.
Yes, and good luck to you all, and be safe out there and have fun.
Absolutely. Well, coming up this morning, we have what's trending, including the latest hog to go wild out in the state of Washington, and we get to see who the new Miss Universe is for 2024. Stay with us. We'll be right back.